my name's Holly. Welcome to 5 Minute Birth Classes. Today we're talking about the routine tests done for the 28-week bloods. So these tests actually get done anywhere between 24 and 28 weeks. Where I work at the moment, we're recommending them between 26 and 28 weeks. The idea is that you just have results by the time you have your 28-week appointment. So this is where we recommend testing for your red blood cells, see what your levels are like, your iron levels, see how that's going. They really start to drop at about this time in pregnancy. And then this is also where we talk about screening for diabetes in pregnancy. Now, diabetes in pregnancy affects about 1 in 10 women. This is where your body's pregnancy hormones really affect your insulin resistance. So your insulin resistance increases as your pregnancy progresses, and therefore by the start of the third trimester, so by about 28 weeks, you might be entering a temporary state of diabetes if this is you. Because it's something that affects about 10% of women, it's something that is recommended to be routinely tested in pregnancy. There are a few options. So the gold standard that we are using at the moment here in Australia is the glucose tolerance test, or the GTT. That is your 2-hour test. It mentally can be quite challenging because you've got to sit and basically do nothing for 2 hours. We want to see what your blood sugars are like in your basal metabolic rate, so without doing any extra activity to help reduce the blood sugar in your bloodstream. The idea is that you fast overnight, you go get your bloods done kind of first thing in the morning. They take all your bloods plus your fasting blood sugar. They give you a drink that has about 75 grams of sugar in it, which sounds like a lot, but if you have ever smashed back a block of Cadbury Dairy Milk in one sitting, you have had more than 75 grams of sugar. About 3/4 of a normal 200 gram block here in Australia has 75 grams of sugar in it. So it's a lot of sugar, but it's probably not something you're not used to. Anyway, so you drink a drink, and then at 1 and 2 hours after finishing that drink, you get bloods taken again, and that's to give us information in real time to see how your body responds to blood sugars and being able to regulate those. Now, GDM in pregnancy, if you have uncontrolled or unstable blood sugars, it can affect the function of the placenta, it can affect baby's growth. Blood sugar crosses the placenta, but insulin doesn't. So baby has to make their own insulin. Now, insulin itself, as well as regulating blood sugars, is actually also a growth hormone. So for people that have babies that are born like massive off the charts, then we always question, did you have diabetes? Was this something that was tested for? Was it picked up? How well controlled were your blood sugars? Sorry. And then so that's the 2-hour test. So that's option number 1. Option number 2 is a combination of your fasting blood sugar and your HbA1c. So your fasting blood sugar gives us like the lowest blood sugar you have in like a 24-hour cycle. So that's usually first thing in the morning. At the same time, we can also collect your HbA1c, which is a red blood cell test that looks at the average of your blood sugars for the last 3 months, which is really cool they can do that. So the combination of like your average plus your lowest sugar gives us some really good information about how your body regulates sugars. Do you have any sugar problems? There was a study done in Australia a couple of years ago. It only had 300 participants, but still really good quality study that showed that the HbA1c over 5.1% started to correlate with people having gestational diabetes as diagnosed by the GTT. And then your third option is to have 2 weeks of writing a food diary, as well as then doing 4 finger pricks a day, so fasting, and then 2 hours after every meal. So bruised little fingers with that one, but only 2 weeks. So they're definitely your options, and then you can always choose not to do it, and then any other bloods that you need in that time will be discussed with you as to what is happening in your pregnancy.